All right, no countdown. We're live. All right, everybody. Hello, we're live with Evin from Billions Network. My name is Ivan. I am head of marketing at Empire and also AdEx. Shortly, we'll be joined by Ivo, the CEO of AdEx. And yeah, today we're here to talk about AI agents in the Web3 space. I wanted to start with brief introductions anyway. So, Evin, actually, you have joined a stream with us before. It wasn't actually a stream; it was something like a podcast that we were running for Empire. And yeah, that time it wasn't me; it was a colleague of mine talking to you. But yeah, I'm super happy to be today with you. And yeah, you can start by introducing yourself to our audience. Here's Eve as well.
GM, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us for a jam on AI agents. My name is Evin McMullen. I'm the co-founder of Billions Network and a longtime fan of the Empire universe and all of the abstracted capabilities that they bring to all of us as users in the crypto space. I first got my start building in the on-chain universe back when we just called it Bitcoin in about 2010. I first encountered the Bitcoin paper in an academic context, and it has captured my imagination ever since. In 2017, I decided to go pro in crypto and started working full-time developing identity and verifiable data technologies in the Ethereum ecosystem, back when generating a zero knowledge proof required you to sit at your computer for 30 minutes and cross your fingers and hope something would happen. But fortunately, in the years ensuing, we've developed a lot of technology and a lot of capabilities. So that process now takes less than 2 seconds on your mobile phone. I'm here today representing our team from Billions Network, which is the human and AI network, the first built with mobile first verification to solve proof of personhood and save the internet in the age of AI. So what that means is that you can, with Billions technology, prove that you are a human being, a unique human being, a citizen of a certain country, over a certain age, and more, all from the comfort of your device at home or on the go in a privacy-preserving and compliant manner. So rather than disclosing all of your information to every app and website and service that you visit, instead, you are able to maintain the security and privacy of your most vital information while still enjoying the personalized internet. And for purposes of today's conversation, want to focus on our deep trust framework. So deep trust makes it easy to assign a unique identity to an instance of an AI agent, just like how every single one of us as humans have unique identities, so too do AI agents. Informed by the models that they are based on, by the training and weights and parameters that are set forth, and also, most crucially, the individuals or entities that they represent. So, we can get into that a little bit more, but if you remember nothing else from our conversation today, let's make sure everyone understands that accountability requires identity. And so in a world of agent-to-agent payments, of disclosure of information, interaction enabled by agentic workflows, it is important that we can identify and build trust with our counterparties, regardless of whether they are human or agentic.
Wow. I don't know if you have rehearsed that, but this was an absolutely splendid intro. It was amazing. By the way, I tested the app, the Billions app, and looks really nice. Works seamlessly. Haven't scanned my passport yet, but I'll do it shortly, probably after the call. All right, Ivo, do we hear you? Let's try. Not really.
We can see your beautiful face and we can tell that you are on the go, but can't quite hear that great alpha just yet.
All right. Yeah, you can continue trying to resolve the mic issue, the mic issue. And yeah, while you're trying, we can start with the next question. My first question for you guys was, I mean, it's a bit of a really broad question, but since I'm more involved with Ambire, I'm not really closely monitoring the AI agent space in Web3. I'm just touching the surface, but I wanted to know by you what the actual state of AI agents is right now in Web3. Because yeah, we've been hearing more and more in the last probably year and a half, but what's the situation today?
I love this question. I would say that the state of our nation in agentic Web3 is bullish. And the reason that I feel really strongly about that is that we have seen the rapid growth and interest in bringing these two complementary technologies together. And having moved through the early stages of discovery, we are starting to find a lot of places where there is beautiful product market fit between the non-deterministic and stochastic nature of AI and the deterministic and well-trodden paths of crypto. So I think of the two as uniquely complementary. One enables infinite generation, the AI side, and the other verifiable scarcity on the crypto side. And so in a world where we want non-human actors to be able to facilitate interactions on our behalf, having a ledger that is verifiable, that is auditable, that can keep us on the rails seems especially well suited. One thing that I especially want to call out that I think is really interesting is the verifiability of not only the data that goes into informing our AI models and facilitating their interactions, but also the actual computation, the actual execution of those agents is now sort of caught up to the maturity of technology so that we can verify workflows themselves. We can make sure that the execution, the how we got to the answer from that AI agent is just as verifiable as the data inputs it was provided. And so this gives us great visibility, transparency, auditability into that whole agentic process instead of treating it like a black box.
Amazing. All right. Yeah, here at AdEx, we're working on our Aura engine, which currently can take your address and can see what your current behavior is, your current portfolio, what you're holding, what you've done on chain, and it can suggest you different strategies on how and what you can do on chain. It's getting more and more powerful with integration of MCPs. However, the next step is one that I'm both bullish on, but also a little bit scared of, because the next step is logically, having this agent, empowering this agent to take actions on behalf of you. And for many people, the idea of handing over decision making to an AI, especially one that can move assets or take actions on chain, is quite scary. I might be one of them. How do you think we can build real trust in these agents, particularly for non-technical users or people who are new to Web3
I think this is a really great question, right? How do you decide that you trust a non-human actor with your wallet? That is an enormous, enormous responsibility, and one that certainly requires some rules. We're not going to start handing over our entire net worth on chain to an unknown, unidentifiable bot. That would be absolutely bonkers. And you noted earlier as well that on-chain data alone, without an additional layer of discretion, is not enough to provide sufficient recommendations. If any of you all have ever searched for a piece of furniture on Google before, let's say I'm looking for a couch, and then you buy your couch, you're probably still getting ads for couches. right? You're not going to need another couch next week if you just purchased one, but because that is the past browsing behavior you have exhibited, that is the most fresh and recent data from which recommendations can be generated. So past actions on chain, similarly, are not always the best indicator or the only indicator of what you want to do next. Just because I searched for a couch once doesn't mean I want to buy a couch every time I open the internet. But today, that's what many recommendation engines look and feel like. So when it comes to proactive next steps, what do I want to do after I search for my couch? What actions do I want to take after I've interacted on chain in a basic manner? As you said, it's very important for us to be able to identify and build trust with that recommendation engine, with an entity that might be acting on our behalf. So at Billions Network, we think about the deep trust framework. How can we not only assign a unique identity to an instance of an AI agent so we can tell, what it is, how it was created, how it was trained, whether it's right for us, but then also based on the actions of that agent, how it interacts with other agents, the outcomes of the transactions it facilitates, we're actually able to build up a reputation system for these agents, almost like a review system, feedback, a report card based on the success and outcomes of its past executions, so that we are not just treating every agent, treating every AI-enabled workflow as equivalent, but rather we are able to compare, to contrast, to choose the ones that are right for us. Today, online, about 50% of online interactions come from unknown, unaccountable, unidentifiable bots. And I love bots. I'm not trying to click trade for the rest of my life and to manually enter every character into every form that I encounter in every new application, for the rest of my use of the internet. But there needs to be a middle ground of discretion, of human decision-making, of optimization in between a new agent-enabled service and my entire holdings on chain.
All right. Ivo, do you need me to ask the question once again? I think you joined amid Evan's answer, or we were basically talking how you can trust AI agents, handing them actions on behalf of yours, and especially on-chain stuff like depositing funds and anything. How do we trust those agents? And yeah, hence the name of today's stream is your AI agent getting too autonomous? Okay. This is becoming a meme, but with every time you joining, we're getting closer. It's fine. These things happen on live streams. It's fine. All right. I'll just jump to my next question, and yeah, it's more time for you, Evan. Well, if an AI agent can analyze data faster, detect trends more efficiently, and even act quicker than any human, then what's the role of the human in a world where agents are outperforming us in decision making? Where do humans fit, and what are we doing on chain when the agents take over for us?
So this is a really interesting question, because what you described is that agents may be able to assess information faster, but do we have any evidence in the DeFi space, for example, that the outcomes of agentic trading are superior to traditional, high frequency trading strategies or even click trading? Right. Although we may be able to, expedite the process of executing a trade, of combining liquidity from multiple chains, of inputting a semantic query, and then having a solver network compete against one another to be able to, to find the most efficient path. I have yet to see any benchmarks that these AI-enabled workflows indeed outperform a lot of the more traditional strategies. I think that it's absolutely possible that they do. But until we have meaningful benchmark data, I think that's still an open question for us to examine, and one for which we should be extremely critical.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder if there is like a scale AI agents take over, and all the AI agents are doing trading 10x, and then at some point all the agents are doing 10x trading, and how are they going to compete? Like everyone's going to be having an absolutely optimized trading, then who's going to pay for it? Because sometimes, I mean, trading is like poker. You win at trading because someone is losing at trading. And if all agents are winning all the time simultaneously, my head doesn't wrap around this. But yeah, it's interesting nevertheless. I wanted to take you a question before that, and because I already asked you about some people having fear, handing over decision making and actions to agents, but what are the actual risks when it comes to privacy, ethical implications, and control? Like, because fearing the robot because it's something unknown, and perhaps maybe something of a higher intelligence is one thing, but what are the actual practical risks that we see?
So I think the practical risks of making data available in agentic workflows are really informed by how that data is stored. So, for example, if you're enabling an agent to have access to the clear text of your most vital documents, to the clear text contents of, for example, your accounts, to the private key material of your wallet in an unfettered and unrestricted manner, then certainly you are handing over quite a lot of risk. But at Billions Network, we believe that you don't need to, approach it in an all or nothing manner. Rather, in the same way that you are able to maintain the security and privacy of that original data and generate proofs about it to prove that you are not on the OFAC list, to prove that you have a KYC status, to prove that you are over a certain age without revealing your birth date, I think that same mechanism can be utilized to imbue agents working on your behalf with those proofs without equipping them with all of the original data itself. So this is sort of the difference between "don't be evil," which is sort of an old Google tagline that requires a lot of trust in the actor, versus "can't be evil," using cryptographic proofs to prevent or preempt the disclosure of that original sensitive data, while still allowing agents to act on behalf of users in a manner that relies on the content of that data. And so this is a little bit of a tricky differentiation, very minute, very subtle, but I think that the underlying data structures, the ways that they are stored, the ways that they are able to communicate or leverage them, really inform the amount of risk that you are taking to the table when you allow an agent to act on your behalf.
Amazing. All right. I hope you're enjoying having 100% of the time on stage, because I have more questions for you coming. Next one was actually pretty much designed for you. And I wanted to ask again about identity. And in particular, identity is already a complex issue, and how we're layering autonomous agents on top of the existing identity. And how do you think identity and verification will evolve in a world where agents might represent or even act as or even mimic individuals?
So
can they trick us at some point?
They already are. In fact, my co-founder, my good friend Sandeep Nailwal, who's the also the founder of projects like Polygon Blockchain, as well as Sentient in the AI space, has already encountered this issue where someone created a deep fake of him and then started to join calls with other teams, with other individuals, misrepresenting Sandeep and acting as though they were him using this deepfake technology. So a little bit of an alpha leak here. Our team has taken this challenge very seriously, cryptographically seriously. And so if you keep a close eye on the Billions Network in the weeks to come, you will see some very robust solutions to this very problem. The ability to ensure, to verify that the other individual on, for example, a Zoom call or a Google Meet or a Telegram chat is not only a real human being, but also the human being they purport to be. And so I think, what you're highlighting here is the fact that sometimes people lie on the internet. I hate to say it, but that is abundantly true. And this is going to become an even more pressing and concerning challenge when we allow non-human actors to represent, in the same shape, in the same data formats, in the same spaces that human beings can. I think for many years in the crypto space, we have assumed best intentions of other users because the cost of counterfeit has been so high. Whether it's the expense of gas fees, the technical complexity of utilizing different dApps and protocols and services, or quite frankly, just how small the community of users has been. WAGME, we're all going to make it, the little catchphrase that you may have heard a few years ago. WAGME doesn't work for 1 billion people because someone has to be exit liquidity. And so, as we talk about the reality of economic systems, exactly as you did earlier, I think it's imperative that we remember not everyone is going to be an honest actor, that trust minimized systems were designed that way for a reason, and that verifiability is the only way that a trustless system can scale.
This is also a really nice prelude to our next question, which is, can we decentralize and should we decentralize AI agents fully at some point? Or are there always going to be points of centralization or control that we can't escape if we want to feel safe?
Unless you wrote every character of the code and compiled it yourself, unless you mined every mineral for the hardware and smelted and assembled each piece under your own supervision, you are trusting someone in that process. But it is, imperative that we create systems of auditability, of verifiability, so that we can abstract the labor that's associated with every single layer of this now increasingly complex stack. I think, there are many aspects of when we say AI, there are many, many different elements that go into that supply chain. The collection of the training data, the act of training itself, the supply chain of energy that allows these servers to run, the mechanism in which the hardware is operating, and even the access at the user interface level. So there are many, many ways in which centralization allows for more rapid development, more precise control and safety, and decentralization allows for, greater distribution, proliferation, and access. However, in a world where accountability is going to be important for instances of agents that are acting on behalf of humans or that are executing logic, we cannot have a fully decentralized system for accountability, because if no one is in control, then no one is accountable. And this creates an extreme safety concern, but also does not fit in the way that human beings operate in our current system. So I think, as with all things, decentralization, the platonic idea of decentralization, does not exist. Even in the most decentralized of blockchains, the participants in the network all agree to perform upgrades at the same time. For example, upgrades are a centralized act. They agree to pay their utility bills, right? The plug that goes into a computer is a centralized point of interaction, and so too is the source of energy that flows into it. So if we want to get really minute, if we want to get really nitpicky, there are millions of ways in which centralized trust enables decentralized and trust minimized systems. And so that purity test of decentralization, I think, is often only applied in a poetic manner, but not necessarily the most practical. So sort of in conclusion to your question, I think decentralization is a phenomenal design principle that allows us to accelerate and improve distribution for many different actions and capabilities. But at the end of the day, implementations are centralized acts. And so we still need to have an immense amount of trust and openness with one another as we proceed together.
Agree. Yeah. When there's responsibility, decentralizing responsibility, it's probably not a good idea. Decentralization gives us enough benefits in other aspects anyway. So yeah, cool one. Well, this was shorter than we predicted, but it was meaningful anyway. My last question for you and Ivo would be, of course, what are the next the biggest milestones before the projects in the months to come? What shall we look forward to, and what drives your excitement about what you're building at Billions currently?
So thank you guys so much for having me today. It has been a real pleasure, always a joy to be able to cross paths with y'all, and very much looking forward to our next adventure together in the metaverse. As I mentioned, my name is Evin, co-founder of the Billions Network. And if you're interested in following along on our journey and seeing what's next, we are always online on X, and our DMs are always open if you have questions. For the next few months, I'm especially excited to bring some new superpowers to our native mobile applications. And so the Billions Network app is available in app and Android stores for your devices worldwide. In addition to those applications, we'll also be releasing a variety of exciting updates on the AI front. And so if you want to stay tuned there, you can also check out the first version of the Deep Trust paper at billions.network/AI white paper. So definitely invite everyone to give us a follow and keep up to date with what's going on social. And as you explore, as you encounter unique challenges and opportunities, if your team wants to build with us, we are always ready to support.
That's amazing. There are exciting things to come at AdEx as well. Most importantly, the demo of Aura is already live. You can find it on adex.network. And I'll be super curious, and I'm recommending it to everyone to tell us feedback. What do you think about the strategies that Aura is giving? How can we improve? So go ahead and check it out on AdEx's website. There is an even bigger app coming soon. And yeah, stay tuned is what I'd normally say. However, Evin, yeah, of course, thank you very much for joining us. And I still think that at some point in time, we'll cross paths again, because this talk would be like 10x better if you were together with Ivo. I'm sure it would be a really nice conversation, but it's not something that won't happen any soon. I really believe that we will repeat it at some point. And yeah, thank you for joining today. Thanks everyone for watching, for listening. And yeah, let's keep on building this interesting future together.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you again so much for your time. Right. Safe travels, and we will see you all on chain.
All right. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.